Why do we call a leg cramp a Charley horse? If you're unlucky enough to have experienced a Charley horse, a painful muscle spasm or cramp in your leg, then you may have found yourself wondering what this nonsensical phrase even means. Who is this Charley character? Where did he come from? And, what does he know about my pain? Like the words flaky and jazz, this term likely entered the language from the baseball field. While the idiom's etymology isn't 100% certain, archived newspaper articles suggest it was coined by a baseball player in the 1880s. We just don't know which player said it first, or why. According to a January 1887 article in the Democrat and Chronicle, the phrase was well known to baseball players at the time, but to the average person, Charley horses were as enigmatic as an Egyptian hieroglyphic. That year, Charley horses were mentioned in a slew of newspapers across America, and some attempted to tackle the phrase's murky origin. Nearly every sporting journal gives a different version as to how the term Charley horse originated in baseball circles, the Oakland Daily Evening Tribune reported at the time. The likeliest tale, according to the paper, centered around John Wesley Jack Glasscock, a shortstop who at the time was playing for Indianapolis. At some point a few years earlier, the player had strained a tendon in his thigh during a game, and afterwards went home to his farm, where his father looked after a lame old horse called a Charley horse. When the senior Glasscock saw his son limping along, he reportedly exclaimed, "Why, John, my boy, what is the matter? You go just like the old Charley horse." John supposedly shared the funny turn of phrase with his teammates. And, from there, it spread. Similar accounts were reported in other newspapers, but they were attributed to various other players. Other reports say the phrase has nothing to do with a live animal, but rather the fact that an injured player, while running, resembles a rocking horse or a child riding astride a wooden hobby horse. The New Dixon Baseball Dictionary by Paul Dixon details a few other theories. In two versions of the same basic tale, Orioles or Chicago Cubs players went to the races and bet on a horse named Charley, who pulled up lame in the final stretch. The next day, a player pulled a tendon in his leg and was said to resemble our old Charley horse. Alternatively, its origin may relate to an old workhorse that was tasked with pulling a roller across the infield. Often in the 1800s, old workhorses kept on the grounds of ballparks were called Charley. The movements of the injured, stiff-legged ballplayers were likened to the labored plodding of these old horses, and the injury itself eventually became known as a Charley or Charley horse. Tim Considine wrote in 1982's The Language of Sport. It also appears that Charley horse originally implied a much more serious injury, or perhaps there was a bit of hysteria surrounding a condition that seemed new and scary in the late 19th century. The Democrat and Chronicle described a Charley horse as a giving way of one of the small tendons of the leg and said an injured baseball player might need an entire season to recover. Another article from 1887 said, ball player George Van Haltren's relatives were worried he would get a Charley horse, although they do not know what that is. He was said to have been very fortunate because he had not yet encountered the terrible Charley horse. For comparison, Healthline.com now says Charley horses are generally treatable at home by stretching, massaging, or icing the afflicted area, although the muscle pain can linger for up to a day in some cases. So, there you have it. We may never know the exact etymology of the Charley horse, but the next time you get a sharp pain in your leg, you can thank an old-timey ball player for making your struggle sound so silly.